Now on CoastTV News.
Shelves of food. The Food Bank of Delaware says uncertainty is growing amid increasing government shutdown persisting.
Sudden post office closure. Why the Ocean View post office is temporarily closed.
Gorgeous fall weather to end the week with another clear and chilly night in store, and abundant sunshine and even warmer for the weekend. Details coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
The Food Bank of Delaware bracing for uncertainty. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with a local nonprofit feeling the pinch of a national government shutdown.
This is the Food Bank of Delaware in Milford. It's a place that many people in the community rely on during what the food bank calls the highest food insecurity rates in nearly a decade. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is live there in Milford. Emma, the food bank says this government shutdown is making things even less secure.
Maddie, here at the Food Bank of Delaware, they say there's already a high need in these communities. The food bank says if the government shutdown continues for a while, they expect even more people to be relying on their services. Getting groceries. For some, maybe it's just an annoying chore, but others simply can't afford to do it on their own. That's where the Food Bank of Delaware comes in, and at the Milford location, Vice President of External Affairs Chad Robinson says during this government shutdown, he's expecting even more people, especially federal employees, to need the food bank's help.
It's worrisome for us in terms of the people that we serve. We know that so many individuals are just barely getting by, making ends meet, and I don't know that anyone could plan for not having a paycheck.
And if the shutdown continues for a while, more people may show up, but federal assistance programs may not. The food bank anticipates SNAP will be okay through October, but they can't say for sure after that.
If it does become prolonged, that we want to make sure that we continue those conversations with our federal partners about SNAP and WIC and TPAP and all of the programs that we rely on, that those resources continue to come at that time.
For now, workers at the food bank keep stocking the shelves, trying to ensure that no Delawarean goes hungry while the future remains uncertain. The food bank tells me they're always in need of food and funds. That's any time of year. And if you want to volunteer, there's plenty of opportunities to help in that way here as well. Reporting live in Milford, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
A few days ago, the Delaware Healthcare Association sounded the alarm over the impact they say the shutdown has on critical healthcare services across the state. The association said while Medicare and Medicaid recipients are not immediately at risk, the shutdown threatens several healthcare programs that support hospital operations and patient care, according to DHA.
This brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know what worries you the most during a government shutdown.
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. So far, 65% say economic fallout and 23% say they're worried about delayed services. 12% say missed paychecks is a concern.
We do have a comment from Cheryl from Ellendale who says elected officials in Washington should be furloughed as well, no pay.
If you haven't voted yet or left a comment on your thoughts on this shutdown, you can do that right now on coasttv.com, and we'll have updates tonight at 11. Let's go ahead and take a live look into Rehoboth Beach. What a gorgeous night to be on the beach right there, and that's my favorite view with no people on it. Love that. And let's turn it over to our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trihey, with a banner weekend ahead of us. Bob?
Oh boy, we've got a great weekend, Charlie and Maddie. And boy, what a beautiful shot there too on the beach. Just some cirrus clouds, the ocean nice and calm, and temperatures are cooling down. We were near 70 earlier, but now we're starting to cool down with mostly clear skies and light winds. 65 in Gumboro and Georgetown, 64 in Dagsboro, and we've got 65 in Bethany Beach and Rehoboth with a bit of a southeast breeze, and that's going to be pretty light as we go through the evening hours. As we're looking at just some high cirrus clouds and maybe a few cumulus clouds too across Delmarva. Otherwise, it's high high pressure, and that's going to provide once again another night where we have clear skies and quickly falling temperatures. Here's Futurecast at 7. We're falling through the 60s, maybe still a little warmer along the beaches, but by 9 p.m. clear skies, temperatures in the 50s and low 60s, and shortly after midnight really dipping into the 50s and some 60s along the coast. And then as we go through the overnight, even colder. I think some locations by tomorrow morning once again could be into the upper 40s as we are looking at a good-looking weekend on the way with a big warm-up. Much more on that forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. The Ocean View Post Office has now been closed for 1 week due to emergency renovations. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Ocean View. Brandon, there was no notice given prior to the closure.
Charlie, I'm going to walk you through literally of what everyone did today walking up to the post office here in Ocean View. Most people would make their way up the stairs with their package in hand, but when they got to the door, they would notice it's locked. So then they read those signs posted saying it was closed, and most people we spoke to went to the Bethany Beach location, which is the closest post office to where we are here in Ocean View. But this is important to note. This closure is not because of the government shutdown. Although the Postal Service here in the U.S. is a federal agency, now that could delay when these renovations take place here in Ocean View. But people we spoke with that were ready to ship their packages were shocked to see the close sign on the door.
What's your first reaction just coming here trying to mail something?
Surprised. I just didn't think that the post office would be closed, so I'm sort of like, okay.
I had no idea this was going to happen, but I'll get over it.
Mm-hmm. So,
and if they say it needs emergency renovations, it's fine with me.
We spoke to multiple neighbors off camera that mentioned mold might be the cause of the closure here at the post office in Ocean View. So we reached out to the public information officer for the Postal Service. He said all the information he knew was on this paper, but two key pieces of information that are not on that paper are the cause of this closure and a timetable for when this post office could possibly open again. Live in Ocean View, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Brandon. Calls to save a historic pecan tree growing in Milton. Neighbors say the tree is at least 100 years old and is a landmark in the town. It stands at the corner of Route 16 and Union Street, where a business park and Royal Farms are slotted to go. Neighbors tell us they're hopeful that the tree can be included in the blueprints for the project.
There are so many trees in Delaware. Development is taking thousands of them out, by the hundreds and thousands. This one is old. It's right in the center of town. It's historic. It's the only one, and it's worth saving.
We reached out to Royal Farms and officials with the business park to see if keeping the tree in the blueprints would be an option. We have not yet heard back.
On your screen now is the intersection of Deer Forest Road and Macaulay's Chapel Road. That's a two-way stop, but according to DelDOT, not for long. The agency that says that will soon become a four-way stop. Work is scheduled to start October 7th.
In Milton, the town is set to discuss and possibly even vote on revisions to the emergency services fee policy on October 6th. The funds will cover fees for emergency protection services and capital equipment. In the case of an emergency, money might be drawn from the funds. Each fund must reach its $100,000 balance before the policy takes effect, and if approved, supervisors and nonprofits will be asked to submit written letters to the town manager for those funding requests.
Rehoboth Beach is reviewing a $21.3 million bid for improvements to the wastewater treatment plant this upcoming Monday. It's the final phase of what's been a multi-year upgrade process expected to last almost 15 years before more work is needed. Sussex County will cover 2/3 of the cost based on wastewater flows. Town officials warn that sewer rates may increase to cover those costs.
We are continuing our coverage tonight on the legal battle between the federal government and offshore wind developer that wants to build off Delmarva. A judge has denied the Trump administration's motion to pause an ongoing lawsuit against U.S. Wind. The feds are arguing the current government shutdown has limited its attorney's ability to respond to the suit. U.S. Wind opposed the motion, warning that the government could take advantage of a delay and undermine the court's ability to weigh in on the project's approval first. The lawsuit began last year when Ocean City challenged the Biden administration's approval of the project.
Delaware State Police have arrested 22-year-old Benjamin Herrera after a 3-car crash in Bethany Beach. Troopers say at approximately 8 p.m. they responded to that crash on Route 1 near Beach Cove Square. Troopers say Herrera was driving south when he hit a Nissan, which then hit a Chevy, causing it to flip. Troopers say he threatened paramedics and EMTs and was charged with multiple felonies. The next legislative hearing re-examining statewide property reassessment is scheduled for October 7th. The hearing will include presentations and committee questioning of officials from Kent and Sussex counties. Last year's court-ordered reassessment was the first in decades and left many homeowners with higher property tax and school tax bills. Lawmakers say they're looking for answers about the tax hikes and how they can help counties with future reassessments. And we're just getting started this evening.
Community service in Lewis, the volunteers that came out to help make the city a little cleaner.
It was a beautiful Friday, though, a little on the cool side. 71 the high, 45 the low. Normal's now 74 and 55. We're going to warm things up for the weekend, and a beautiful weekend on the way. Your forecast details coming up in a few minutes.
The first weekend of October brings a mix of fun and meaning to the coast. Stay tuned for your weekly lineup of cool things to do.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Dewey Beach going pink, country music taking over Ocean City, and classic cars coming to Georgetown this weekend. Sounds pretty fun.
A lot of fun to be had. Christina DiRobertis has all your cool things to do.
October is finally here, and with it comes plenty to do this weekend. On Saturday, Dewey Beach goes pink. The 14th annual fundraiser takes over the Starboard, bringing thousands of people together to raise money for breast cancer awareness. It all kicks off with a race and walk at 11 a.m. Then the party rolls on with live music, food, and an auction. New and vintage cars will be on display in Georgetown on Friday and Saturday for the annual Wings and Wheels Festival. The sky meets the road with an assortment of cars and planes. They're all on display at the Delaware Coastal Airport. The Milford Historical Society is hosting its Fall Antiques Market on Saturday from 9 to 3. That's on the lawn of the Parson Thorne Mansion. Dealers from across Delmarva will be there with antiques and vintage finds. Admission is just $1, and it includes a tour of the mansion where renovations are currently underway. Swifties can listen to Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl, at Big Oyster Brewery on Sunday. There's going to be Taylor Swift-themed brunch items, plus cocktails and mocktails. In Lewis on Sunday, science meets family fun. The University of Delaware's Coast Day is happening at the Sharp campus. That's from 10 to 3 p.m. There's going to be hands-on activities, touch tanks, boat tours, even a chemical magic show. And Ocean City is welcoming country music fans for the Country Calling Music Festival. Headliners include Carrie Underwood, Luke Bryan, and Luke Combs, and you can still get tickets. For event details, tickets, and more, just head over to CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
A gorgeous weekend for all outdoor activities, including golf, and it's looking excellent out there. It's going to be dry, so maybe the greens are a little fast. We're looking at temperatures warming into the upper 70s with lots of sunshine. It is going to be a gorgeous weekend. I'll have full forecast details coming up after the break. We're seeing absolutely gorgeous weather heading into the upcoming weekend. What a beautiful end to the week. We're seeing some cirrus clouds on the Irish Ice Cam right now, 67 degrees, and you'll be falling quickly through the 60s into the 50s overnight with clear skies and light winds. We got up to 71 in Georgetown today. That's a few degrees below average, with 72 in Salisbury, a little cooler Ocean City at 69, 69 in Dover, and 70 in Easton. And it's Friday night. You know what that means, football. And and the weather looking good. Kickoff 63 with light winds. It's going to be crisp, so make sure you have that sweatshirt, maybe even a hoodie too, and by halftime around 56. And this weekend we have country calling. Tonight it's going to be chilly and looking great Saturday and Sunday. Lots of sunshine, temperatures in the low to mid 70s, but in the evenings a little cooler with temperatures into the 60s. Here's our dry tech cam, and this is what is called a sundog. As the sun is going down, you can see to the east of the sun kind of a rainbow looking situation there, so that's kind of cool. This evening, quickly falling temperatures from the 60s into the 50s with light winds, and then for the weekend, wonderful wall-to-wall sunshine and a warming trend. And right now temperatures are cooling through the 60s, 63 in Millsboro, 71 in Redden, 68 in Seaford, and the winds are light, in fact calm in some places, and that'll be the case as we go through this evening as we're seeing some cirrus clouds floating through, but we've got high pressure in place. That means with dry air it warms quickly, but then it cools quickly as well, and that high all across the eastern third of the country, keeping us nice and quiet, we think, for the next several days. As we go into this evening on Futurecast, we're looking at those temperatures falling pretty quickly. In fact, by around midnight, 54 to mid 50s inland areas, 50s and 60s at the beaches, and by tomorrow morning some places into the upper 40s well inland with mid to upper 50s at the coast. And then as we go into tomorrow, a little warmer with temperatures into the upper 70s. And then as we go into Sunday, not as chilly Sunday morning, low 50s and then 70s to close to 80 as we go into the afternoon. We're looking at 70s on Saturday along the coast with light winds, and here is your muggy meter, comfortable the next couple of days, and a couple of days that are muggy Monday and Tuesday and then drying out. But it looks like our only chance of rain really comes on Wednesday with a cold front, but really not a great chance at this point. And the tropics are pretty quiet, but there is an area across the Atlantic that could develop about a 50% chance in the next 7 days, and only a slight chance near Florida. 47 tonight, mostly clear, quite chilly. 78 tomorrow with sunny skies. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Upper 70s Sunday and Monday, 80 on Tuesday. Rain chance on Wednesday cools us to 73, and then a cooler 65 on Thursday. Congratulations to Trish Harris from Ocean View on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Across the bridge, the Ravens are injury-riddled. You probably know quarterback Lamar Jackson left Sunday's loss to the Chiefs with a bad hamstring, but he wasn't the only Baltimore starter who sat out today's practice.
8 Ravens starters, including 5 Pro Bowlers from last year, didn't practice today. Lamar Jackson hasn't practiced all week, paving the way for Cooper Rush to make his first start as a Raven. The other 6 players who didn't practice today include a lot of stars on defense. Cornerback Chidobe Awuzie, safety Kyle Hamilton, cornerback Marlon Humphrey, linebacker Roquan Smith, and outside linebacker Odafe Owe, as well as starting fullback Patrick Ricard. And that list doesn't even include defensive tackles Nnamdi Madubuike and Broderick Washington, who went on injured reserve a week ago.
It'll be a lengthy injury report for the Ravens Sunday, who host the Texans at 1, while Houston's also 1-3, at least all of its starters practice this week. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
Lewis held its annual Community Service Day today. Volunteers took to the streets to sweep up debris and help beautify the streets and trails of downtown Lewis. Over on the beach, volunteers cleaned excess sand off the Moby mats that greet visitors. That's great to see. Lewis volunteers say they are happy to give back to their community.
I said, you know what, I want to give back to the city and, you know, the beautification, and I love living here, and it's a wonderful place to be.
After a morning cleaning, volunteers met at the American Legion for a celebratory lunch.
Temperatures tumbling this evening. Make sure you grab a heavier sweatshirt into the 50s with calm winds. I think by morning, some places in the upper 40s. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Beautiful weekend. Upper 70s, lots of sunshine. Cool low 50s, and then it warms up a little more into early next week. It stays dry Monday into Tuesday, a high of 80, and then showers on Wednesday, 73. Cooling down Thursday, and then dry into next weekend.
All right, Bob, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.